This podcast is sponsored by FedBiz Access, government contracting made simple. For more information, visit fedbizaccess.com. That's FEDBIZ access.com. Our phone number is 877-376-4249. The extension code is 407. I'm Miles Minich, and I do marketing for small businesses. You are listening to FedBiz 5, where you get informed, get connected, and get results on everything federal contracting. This is part 2 of our conversation with our engagement specialist, Anthony DeTore. We'll be beginning where we left off in our last episode. And so if you haven't listened to part 1 already, make sure you go check that out before you listen to this. I advise it so you know where we left off in part 1. So fair warning before you listen to this. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. And I had this next question, but I guess you kind of really answered it. It was, should a small business have a plan before talking to a procurement buyer? Which, and you kind of explained that, when reaching out, they need to have a plan.
Agreed. And there's also once you're engaging, there's also a position. Your positioning is important. Your positioning should always come from a place of being on the same page as what's important to that buyer. If you think that the people that buyer serves are important, and that's what you focus on how you can best help that buyer serve the people they serve, rather than how can it best help you, well, I think you're coming from the right place. I think that aligns you from a motivational standpoint. And I think it's just basically the right way to do it. And it's the right position to walk in from. Yeah.
So, okay, so they need to have a plan. They need to have all of this. And so I guess this next question, this is the main question they're concerned with. What can make a small business stand out compared to their competition? Because these procurement buyers, they're getting calls. They're always engaging with how can they stand out compared to everybody else?
Well, there is a way to stand out, and the way to stand out is by giving a good presentation of what your value proposition is. What do you offer? What have you done in the past? What are the metrics for that? Explain what projects you've had, the scope of those projects. Because I know that I look at a lot of things and I see, I'm some socioeconomic set aside. It might be a woman-owned business or veteran-owned business or hub zone, or it doesn't really matter. But I mean, it matters because it's important, but it's not your value proposition. It is a good detail. It will give you an edge. But if you start out your dialogue with, I'm a hub zone, small, whatever socioeconomic you pick, or whatever's appropriate for you, it gives the impression that you think that that's your value proposition. While it's important to add it, it's important to have it in there, it's not necessarily what you bring to the table. The fact that you're a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned business is not what you're about. It's not you. So I think that it's important to, when you're making your initial introduction, focus on what you do. Focus on what you excel at. Also tailor that to what that person buys, right? Because you wouldn't be reaching out to them if they didn't have an interest in what you did. So tailor it to them, but really focus and give numbers, give examples of what projects you've had in the past so that they can make a good assessment about your company and what your real value proposition is. And incidentally, I'm a small business, I'm a veteran-owned business, I'm a woman-owned business, I'm a hub-zone business. It's important to have it in there, but I wouldn't lead the charge with it.
You're not defined by that.
You're not defined by it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. It doesn't define you. Okay, and I think that'll help a lot of small businesses. I think they believe they get these certifications and they're like, well, that's my small business, but they overlook everything else that they offer that they can offer to these procurement buyers. And so my last question for the day is what is the main issue that small businesses fail at when approaching these procurement buyers?
I think it's a lack of preparation very often. An inability or a lack of practice in explaining their value proposition and what differentiates them from the rest of the pack. I think if you can get a handle on those two things, you're way ahead of the game.
Someone once said, I'm trying to remember it, luck is when an opportunity meets preparation. So, I don't remember who said that. That's not my quote, definitely not. But I heard that, and I just thought of that when I heard that. You have to be prepared, and you have to really know what you offer. So before you actually go, you can't just go in blindsided.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not the. It's like going into a gunfight with no ammo. So that is the podcast for today. It's the episode for the day on engagements. And so thank you, Anthony, for joining us and explaining this and helping us understand this. And that, my friends, concludes our conversation with Anthony on engagements. We have so much more in store for this podcast, future episodes, future topics, and so we need your guys' help. Make sure you guys share this. We're going to be getting you guys out quality episodes. And so with that being said, hope you guys enjoy this episode today. Stay tuned for more and have a great day.